just tell me the challenges growing up.
I think the challenges was, growing up with a single mother, she raising 3 kids, I think that is the first challenge in the community.
So for me, it was just trying to avoid or stay away from all the negative things that were going on around me and stay focused in school, in sport, the sport that I was doing. So for me, that was what it was about.
I think the other challenge for us is, growing up in circles, man, of people just going through routines. There's no one that actually wants to get out of the community, or someone who can actually say, listen, this is the way to go, this is the things to do, to actually make it. And I think that's the challenge that one needs to break down, to come out of the community and actually see, listen, I can be more than myself, I can be more than my circumstances. So that's the challenges for me.
I would say that the challenges for me would definitely, like I said, the people that I surrounded myself with. Obviously, I had a lot of friends that were bad influences. I needed to stay away from that, needed to avoid that for me to move forward in my career, in my life, in sport, because that's what I could see myself doing. I couldn't see myself working behind a desk pushing a pen. For me, that was never ever something that I could never see myself being a doctor, although I wish I was. But for me, that was something that I needed to avoid and stay away from.
Thing for myself was, to actually know where I wanted to go. From an early age, I knew, listen, this is not the place where I'm gonna stay.
For sure.
I knew actually I wanted to go to a school in George, which was a great rugby school.
Okay.
In sport in general, I was quite a sporty person as well.
Yeah.
I think for me, mostly it was, to be balanced. I think I always wanted to make it in some way, whether it was in academics, or whether it was in sport, or whether it was maybe in culture.
Sure.
It was for me, just to make it and get out of there. And actually, just looking back in a way and say to my sisters, my sister's kids, the people in my community, actually, whenever you work towards something, you can actually make it. I mean, the influence will be there.
For sure.
And sometimes we see the circumstances as something negative, but it's so positive in the way, actually, when I listen to you speaking to myself, actually, I can hear how circumstances actually, pushed us to the next level. I mean, if it was just smooth and you had numerous options and numerous opportunities to make it, I mean, we might have messed it up.
Correct.
But now we were forced in this one way, to do it in a way that we did. And I think that's a nice thing.
For me, I'd say to stay consistent in my career, obviously pushing myself to the limit that I can, giving my level best each and every day. Sometimes we go onto the field, we always want to give our utmost best, and just sometimes the ball doesn't fall for you, or things don't go according to the way you'd like them to. But it's just to be dedicated in your craft and give 100% all the time. Just keep working hard, pushing, believing in, having faith, believing that there's a higher power also. So for me, having faith in what I do is very important. I feel like God, the God Almighty, carries me through thick and thin. So for me, that's staying consistent in what I want to do. It's having faith, believing that anything I want to and I set my mind to is possible, and that I can do it. And
to stay consistent, it's such a difficult thing, because sometimes you get highs and sometimes you get very lows.
Sure.
I think what makes me stay consistent is I'm always striving for excellence.
For sure.
I think knowing that I'll never be perfect, I think that's what's the strive in me. That's the thing that I actually want to do, because I'm striving for that excellence all the time. And, you're coming short, and okay, I didn't make it this week, but then there's always an opportunity next week.
100%.
And I think while one striving for something so much bigger than yourself, I think that's how you can stay consistent. Obviously, injuries as well. I think sometimes you just actually, it feels like you're at the pinnacle of your career, and then you get an injury, either long term or short term. And I think that actually just make you realize again, hey, I have to work harder, or I have to actually focus on this. I maybe were a bit off track. I didn't give the right attention to everyone, or didn't being balanced. So I think, but with it, I think with it is the challenges, you know, of social media and players themselves, the mental health.
Sure. No, I think as a sportsman or for anything, as a matter of fact, like anything you want to do, you're always gonna get negativity. I mean, you can speak for yourself on that as well, because you know we go out there to give our level best. You know, we're representing not only ourselves, our families. There's people that are counting on us. You know, so for us, we always gonna we can't please everybody. So just for us to remain humble, to continue to do our level best that we can. Obviously there'll always be negativity, hate. You're never ever good enough for somebody. Someone's opinion of you should never be the final pinnacle or destination of where you're gonna go, where you want to go. So for me, it's just to stay away from that. It's easier said than done to stay away from negativity, but I think that should fuel you to become better and do more. For me, I can speak for myself on that. You know, you're never ever gonna please everybody. So for me, it's just about doing my level best, giving my all each and every training session that I get, each and every opportunity that I get. It's just to maximize each and every level of opportunity that I get. And on your side, how do you deal with the stuff that comes your way?
Yeah, I think, you know, for us, for myself personally, I always try to keep my circle, you know, intact. I know, listen, the critique I'm taking is always the critique from the circle, the people who knows me best, the people who know I actually have a part that I'm working with. I think that's the people who actually fuel me. But it's difficult, I think, for especially for the people out there, especially sport people, you know, rugby players, soccer players. I think they dealing with it the most. I think sometimes we tend to put our career and our part in the hands of the fans, you know, and because you don't want to disappoint them. I think they also so invested in you that they demand excellence, and sometimes it comes across as negative, and sometimes they forget that the people who's playing the game that they also love so much is also human beings, you know, off the field. And sometimes players especially, you know, when they take the jump to either say from a junior level to a senior level or get a chance and opportunity, and maybe, like you say, the ball don't bounce the way of them. I think sometimes they also deal with it, not so much as a professional, but emotionally, off the field, mentally. And I think sometimes you can be as fit as possible, you can be in the best shape of your life physically, but if you're mentally not healthy, it doesn't help. And I think that's a thing that sport people sometimes struggle with more than the physical part, because they struggle to work through the mental side of things. And I think if we can actually now give that more attention than the physical side, we can actually master this area, because there's a lot of youngsters who's eventually also gonna play professional soccer or rugby or whatever sport or whatever work. I think for them, you know, if they can just understand the mental part more than the physical part, then we're gonna have a healthy next generation.
Correct, 100%.